Hello, my friends. Welcome. We are going to be talking about 6-2s today. So if you are a 6-2 human design profile, you're in the right place. We have many different kinds of 6-2s. Now, at humandesignmastery.com, as a part of Jovian Archive, source of the human design system, I've been educating people on the deeper nuances, the layerings, the subtleties, and in fact, some of the most profound ways that you can get to know yourself. A 6-2 is designed to be a very powerful force in people's lives, in other people's lives. And you can seem like you have a perspective that other people don't have because you have such a big, broad range view. And yet on the body side, you can be maybe shy, reticent. Sometimes you might vacillate between shyness and boldness, but your perspective is one that is naturally sought. And those things that are right for you to do, the things that come naturally to you unconsciously, are going to get much more fulfillment for you. And you can find out whether or not it's working by attuning to your own frequency. Your type comes with an auric signature. And when you're a manifester, that's peace. When you're a projector, that's success. When you are a reflector, that's surprise. And as a generator, energy, sacral energy being, that happens to be this satisfaction. And that's how you know if you're on track. Being off track comes up with resistance, which is frustration, anger, bitterness, disappointment. And all of us can look to you, 6-2, as somebody we can trust, because you are the one consciously who is here to discern whether or not somebody or something is trustworthy. So there's a potential for you to gain an incredible perspective if you reach your 50s. At the age of 50, your 6-line mind, your role model mind, comes to this place where you are in full maturity. So on the flip side of that means you're going to take a long time to mature, to grow up. There's this potential for you to really not like hypocrisy inside of you, inside of others. Because if your actions do not reflect your words, there is this disconnect inside. So your personal success hinges upon you in right action to align one's action with words. So hypocrisy, unless you have a detriment of the gate 10 in your own natal body graph, because that's actually do as I say, not as I do kind of energy. Hypocrisy is a really difficult thing for you to deal with. Now, I have a 6-2. Personality is 6, body is 2, environmental context. So I really get a lot of 6-2s in my practice, 6s of any kinds, 2 of any kinds, obviously, but 6-2 particularly. These are beings that I'm designed to see and fulfill my purpose with and through. So if you're a 6-2, again, welcome. I'm going to go through some of the differentiation factors of what makes you unique, what makes you sovereign, free, different, divine in your inherent differentiation. Now, as a role model, we're talking specifically personality side. So this actually applies also to 6-3s, which are much more rare. They're harmonic profiles. The term role model basically means an example of unique purpose. So it's very important for you as a 6-line being to be correct, to be aligned, to be authentic. Because when you're at the edge of your roof phase, when we talk about you at your 50s, so getting to this place of fulfillment of purpose, there's 2 edges. The first edge is at your 30s. That's the end of childhood. End of childhood is 30s for everybody, but particularly for you as a 6 of any kind, but particularly here, it's the mind. There is a vulnerability, according to Ra, and your life may be in jeopardy or in danger if you are not wary of other people telling you what to do, because obviously You are here to be your own authority. That's what the 6 is. It's a role model of its self-defined selfishness. Selfishness is that you are never looking at anything for a particular reason. There is this huge detachment that is necessary for you as a role model to deny the conditioning of others. When Ra looked at the term role model, he said he's looking at an example of purpose, because basically that's what it means. An example of unique purpose. So if we were to imagine a hexagram line structures 1, 2, and 3, there's the material plane. 4, 5, and 6. 6 is a movement towards the next hexagram. And the 5th line is the furthest unique differentiation point of that hexagram. So you as a 6, you're moving beyond. It's a line of transition. So you get this big picture view, particularly when you hit your 50s, your full maturity, and there's a sensitivity there. Mentally, it's a sensitivity for your mind to go insane or be unhealthy. And this is especially true when you are being a hypocrite, as in, do as I say, not as I do. And there can be this fragmentation that I've seen in 6-line mental beings where they say one thing and they do another, and they can't get themselves right with self. Reason being is because they believe the mind story. They believe they are the I, the ego I inside that lies, and they attach to the voice inside of their head about themselves rather than being aware of the clear differentiation that is there. Because conditioning that is inside of the body, the openness of your mentality too, all of that, there are little spokespersons there that you are unaware of. Openness not only in the centers, the open areas of the body graph in its entirety. And this is the reason why we study, in order to get to know thyself. Know yourself truly is one of the most beautiful things to see. So as a 6-line being, on the mind side, now we're switching over to look at the hermit in you. If you are a body, that is 2. So then that means this is applicable to not only the 6-2, but also the 5-2. And a hermit, if you are a hermit in you, the easiest way for you to be yourself is alone. Now, I really identify with that personally. High personal perspective over here. And my body, my environment is a 2 as well. So I know this from experience. It is so much easier to be yourself when you're alone. One of the biggest things I have seen in my decade plus of working with human design professionally, and particularly with clients, is that life gets quiet once you start experimenting, as in no more are you chasing, running around, trying to be involved. And what happens here is that you may think that there's something wrong with you if you just want nobody to bother you. Leave me alone, don't bother me. I just want to be alone. But if you are a hermit, a 2, body-wise, it is imperative for you to recognize that there is a specific call for you. This call that is true, this call that is innate, built into the genetic predisposition to form differentiation within the body's cellular matrix, its structure. So you're waiting for something very specific. And it's very important that you recognize any place where there is 2, you are so picky, you are so selective, you are so narrow, as in you're waiting for something very, very specific. Now, a role model hermit is not an initiator, period. A 2 is here to be called. Now, if you are a manifester, 6-2, what to do? You are still waiting for that particular call in you, because there's this energetic structure, this capability and ability to put something out into the world, but there's something unique inherent in you that you are particularly waiting for. And if you're a 6-line being in the first part of your life, there is this 3rd-line phase, meaning you are going to trial and error, bonds made and broken, make mistakes with everything when it comes to your mind's process. If you are operating in integrity, authenticity, you're going to enter into the right things that potentially you can withdraw from in the 2nd phase of your life learn from that experience, and at your 50s, this is when you fully flower and bloom. So the call is everything for you. Remember, the body is the life. The mind is just the witness. It is the passenger consciousness watching this movie. So when you're in a mutative phase, and all of you as a 6, you are mutating, whether you're generating, manifesting, whether you're advising, guiding, whether you're being observant and objective, this reflector creature, truly objective in its nature as a 6-2 in full maturity. And this is a waiting energy. So by being in a mutative capability, this life, because a 6 line is a line of mutation, you're mutating from the current imprint genetically of your mentality into the next hexagram. You're reaching your line of transition. So you, when you enter into this process of living in accordance with your strategy, your type matrix, learn to become your own authority. When you're living according to your own authority, this is not about sitting on the couch and doing nothing. This is the pranic energy of your very existence, generating, manifesting, guiding, advising, being an objective observer and the cosmic judge, accordingly with the nature of type. So as a role model mind, which means we're talking about you being somebody who can be an outer authority. This is what it's like for me. Outer authority simply means a unique, differentiated perspective given to an other without an agenda. Non-agendized interaction. This means then the outer authority is not necessarily interested in offering. You're waiting for the call, and we come right back around to what it is to be a 2. Now, everybody, look after yourselves. As a role model, you know this. When you are lost and maybe you're desperate as a being, if you approach a role model, you can see that these in full flowering, you can see that these role models are not confused about what to do because they are not uncomfortable in their own skin. This is one of the primary signposts that I have seen, besides success, satisfaction, peace, and surprise, as far as the spirit of abundance that arises from inside, accordingly to the type nature. That you get more comfortable in your own skin the longer the skin that you've been in is operating in integrity, in alignment, truly. And this is what happens over the first 7 years of your deconditioning process. That there is something about you that makes you deeply attractive, unique, special. Yes, maybe sometimes you're a freak, but what to do? We are looking at the 6-2 as the most profound word of mouth marketers that have ever existed, according to Ra. This means the transpersonal connectivity between a 6-2 and the other is incredibly, potentially powerful. So when you are looking at this line quality, correctness is absolutely everything for a 6. Okay, it's only you being your own personal authority that will get you to that place of, you could say, enlightened selfishness, the exaltedness of being one's own authority, no matter what anyone says about thee. As in, it doesn't matter what anybody says about you, truly. When you recognize that correctness is absolutely essential for you, in other words, you walk your talk, being a role model with a hermit body, this is going to give you, if you wait and you operate in integrity, the ability to deal with the right call to you. Life calls you, doesn't it? It asks you to express your gifts, your talents. That's the body in its unconscious capability. The body is the hard drive. The mind is the software. If your hard drive is all gunked up because you haven't been waiting, you've been out there initiating, then you have a problem. And that problem only resolves through time of deconditioning and aligning, meaning every single cell inside of you knows what is true. Instead of initiating You wait for life to call you. And what do if life isn't calling you? Study. Be your own master. Now, for some of you, this is going to be much easier to do. I tell you, the color one teacher underneath the role model is going to be someone who can study mentally, because this teacher has a fear motivation. Fear motivation is the most intelligent of all the motivational frequencies. So you value intelligence. Maybe you're a sapiosexual. Look at the 6th line or any line. Underneath, you see that color one, you're looking at somebody who is diving down deep. It's an intelligence gathering motivation, the drive to be able to get the information that you require in order to get to that place of being a kind of teacher. From experience, because this is what the 6th line is doing, having a tripartite life process. First 30 years is a 3. Second, you're looking at going up onto the roof, so to speak, as in getting a bigger, broader view, licking your wounds from your first 30 years. And then at 50 and beyond, life calls you to share your embodied nature, your wisdom potential. Look at any 6th line in the body graph, you're looking at wisdom as a potential. Now, that fear underneath drives us to be intelligent in order to be able to control circumstances around us so that we can survive. Survival is a key for a color one being. Now, you may find that you as a teacher can be incredibly afraid to stand alone. It is because you need the other in order, or require the other, I should say, in order to make sense, understand, or know what things mean. When one person teaches, 2 people learn. If the other is in agreement, then there is a security that emerges. If you are going to be a teacher mentally, then you're going to have to be a student first. And there's only one way to get to teaching, is to go through the learning. In order to be a teacher, you first must learn. And what you're learning about is embodiment, because that's what a 6th line is here for. Until the proper level of learning has been established, then your teaching isn't going to be solid. It's not going to be something that's effective. A mental teacher is about the expression of authority, the recognition of what is solid, tangible, real, in authenticity, because like as in authentically, 6th line, authenticity, very important keynote for you. If you are a teacher who seems unsure about the teaching, then nobody's going to trust you. Remember, your thematic is learning what can and cannot be trusted. This is what you come to in your full maturity. So then your students, if you are not comfortable, confident, they're not going to be comfortable or confident with you as a teacher either. Now, when we look underneath the line quality of the Hermit, we always begin with teacher. The teacher design on the body side, we have now an in-the-box thinker. We're looking at somebody who is very basic, very primitive. This is a one thing at a time person. Rob would call it the caveman or woman diet. The brain body system of a teacher married to the mind system of a teacher has a real propensity for the ability to get down to the bottom of things. A brain here that is good at doing research, good at building a composite, an intelligent appraisal of what it is that's going to bring that information to some kind of solid, congruent capability of being able to eventually get it across to the other. 6th line, as well as 5th line. This is the research and marketing, the research and capability of getting people out into the world with this particular color combination. Research, first color here, and putting it out into the world, transforming this energy into full embodiment and being able to bring it to an other who calls them. So teacher brains with the color 1, you're oriented towards digging into things, which is very different than what naturally a 2nd line we think of as its talent. As in, no, it doesn't like to study. In the basic human design education, you might find, oh yeah, I don't like to study. But those of you with the color 1 teacher, either mind or brain, you're going like, wait a minute, I do like to study. I like to dig into things. So by holding information together, by focusing and getting it out into the world, you're going to find that you have more satisfaction, success, peace, or surprise. This is part of the abundance that arises from inside when you are living life in accordance with your nature, your profile's true purpose, true profile. So as a role model teacher, hermit teacher, it's only your inner authority, your personal process as a role model hermit, where you're ever going to have the opportunity to deal with the right call and to express your gift through the details of what it is to learn first and then teach. And isn't teaching a great way of learning? I find it to be so. When we shift on the body side, which it shall do, as people in the spiral of life, people evolve with every baby. You're learning that the guru in you, if this is you, is somebody that has to have your own process be very selective and picky. Anytime you see a 2 anywhere, you're looking at very narrow, very picky, a perfect selective diet, whether it's information, people, or food, whatever it happens to be, the ideal menu. You're looking at somebody who is very discerning, very, very much rooted in taste, selective, restrictive, discriminatory, anything that's to your taste as far as being brain body system closed off to what other people maybe are attuned to. You're very selective, a narrow brain body system, very special in your narrowness because you are only open to very specific things. And that's what protects you. At the same time, you might have a somewhat searching brain because this is still too about survival here on the brain body level. This sensitivity to those things that are not yet part of the common vernacular or identification or the popular. This is something that's very picky. You can suss things out, but not necessarily explain it. You might not even grasp it. It just comes naturally to you. You may not be able to explain it to others, but you just know what's right for you. Your brain, guru brain, doesn't want to dig into things. Not like that first color teacher. No, you do what comes natural to you. So what is to your taste? This is about not just looking, you're waiting for a call. You're not looking for detail. You're waiting for things to come to you. A 2 always carries naturalness, the gifted and talented. And this capability of being a guru, think about what the guru is. It's not about facts. It's not about figures, not with the first color. This is about not wanting to study. This is about the unusual capacity of your brain to grasp what is not yet graspable to others. You can be prepared for it. You can be attuned to it. You may have a possibility of awareness unconsciously that other people just cannot see. By your discernment process, you can find that place in you that can awaken you, that can bring you up and open you into this embodiment principle. Remember, embodiment mentally is truly the life purpose expressed in your 50s and beyond. Embodiment, full flowering, the living grace, alarm, the living grace of your fulfillment of potential. Now, as we shift over to the color 2 guru on the mind side as well, instead of an out of the box kind of energetic, because you see the 2 and the 1, they are not harmonic nor resonant. When we get here, we see a role model color 2 guru on the mind side. And that is the motivation of hope. And you can see that there is a resonance principle between the 2 colors, same color, 2. Hope is about knowing what to wait for, knowing what not to interfere with, knowing that something better is coming. So there's this awareness principle of knowing that you can just stand back and accept that there are things outside of one's control, that you do not have to control anything, that being aware, you can wait. You can trust that if you wait, you'll get what one deserves. Now, have you ever seen this practically in a real life example? Really, really easy to be aware of. Your mind flipping out on all these things you should fix and doing all these things. And at the same time, your body's just sitting there like Buddha, nothing happening, but your mind's driving you a little bit crazy because all of that not self tendency, and it's telling you, go do this and go do that. And then what happens is you waited. And with the waiting comes one's potentiality, one's possibility, knowing that you can trust in yourself, how to trust in the forces inside of you and also externally too. What to believe in, what not to believe in. This is faith, hope, and belief as far as a sense of knowing what nobody else has a sense for attuning to or waiting for, because they have not the propensity for the attunement for what is to be. This coming to grips with the essential nature of one's reality, that yes, your power is here now, and yet now is not always right timing for action. This is an inactive principle, hope is. It's a waiting game. So motivation is essential for you to know what is true, this deep potential capacity for comprehending what life is about, because you're allowing life to come to you. And you as a guru, personality, you understand that this is protection for you. Motiveless motivation. What a guru can do is open up others to wait for the call. What happens here is that the guru can learn to see the demons that ride you and find that weakest point in you to shatter your barriers. So it opens you up to the call. This is a beautiful gift these 6-2s have to give to us, their others. Because a 6-2 of any kind is always going to have a transpersonal karmic purpose fulfillment. It's not a personal destiny. It's a transpersonal, as in cleaning up karma from past lives with specific others. And as a role model guru with a hermit guru body, it is only your inner process of being your own authority that as a role model hermit guru, you're ever going to have the opportunity to deal with the right people. You start chasing, remember, not for initiating, you start chasing. Unfortunately, sad but true, what to do, you are not expressing your gifts with the right people too. So by your ability to, when you're operating in integrity and in alignment, to deal with the right call and to express your gift of your guru nature, to point out the key, the attunement to your sovereignty of being your own authority. Now, when we shift over to the color priest on the body side, we're looking at thirst, a transformer, a dietary regimen that is either going to heat people up or cool things down, and is nourished by taking that in when it comes to alignment of what they're so picky and selective with. So this is very, very aligned to the energy levels in you. A transformer, mutation requires heat. Anywhere you see 3, think transforming or mutating. So what happens with a priest brain is that you're going to preach, but only when called, as a body that is attuned very specifically, hermit-like, waiting for the call to preach. And this is your ability to find things that is going to heat things up, or find those things, wait for those things to, what to do. You're looking at potentially cooling things down, depending on the kind of priest that you are. So your body is designed to be very specifically to resilient. 3. This is about the resilience that gives you the quality of your brain-body system to transform things. Not only food as you take it in, but also capability of informational feed. Humans are food too, as in informationally, frequency-wise. So you're a body that is going to have a brain system that sets you up to be a preacher. I got an email this morning. I'm a preacher too, by the way, a body side email that said, congratulations, 13 years as a priest. If you ever hear this energy inside of me that rises and gets this pointedness, this energetic determination, that's the 3. And so 2 in you. If there's no change, 3rd color, then there is no growth in you. You're waiting very specifically for things to be affected. To be able to affect things, you're a transformer. So this trial and error process on the body side, this brain-body system, we experiment with changing the way we do things. So for me, in my experience, how this shows up, I'm changing the way I feed myself as far as the nutrients, the density, the substance, the raw substance of what it is that my body requires in order for its healing and maintenance capacity. There's always going to be an incredible material value whenever you see a 3, because 3 is where the material plane is. So there is a way to have growth, but if you have no growth, you have no profit. There's always this material value, profit as in money, honey. So your body, your brain-body system is going to have a better time of making more money if you treat it correctly, accordingly to your not only type, strategy, and authority, but your determination. And this is your personal health system that I'm talking about. So what we're looking at is a capacity naturally to organize others at the 3rd color level. And this 3rd color, this is a rare pathfinder in that you're going to be a great tester of something very specific that calls to you. And if anything's going to go wrong, wherever you see a 3, this is the thing that you're going to feel, see, discover as far as getting in touch with the nature. Maybe you may die from it, but it's part of our service to the collective, to humanity, the 3, wherever you see 3, to bang in those things, into those things that do not work. So when it comes to the essence of being a 3, this embodiment of being a priest, keynoting wise, this is an archetypal nature. I'm not saying that you have to go open up a church somewhere. Please understand. The main line of any priesthood is do this, don't do that. That burns, it takes you to hell, you know, that kind of thing. This is not a path that you want to go down. This is going to lead you astray. So as far as what's going to protect you, whatever it is that's right for you, your calling, the 3 underneath is going to get in touch with it as far as it's going to encounter it. And this is the lock onto the material plane for you. That's what a 3 can do. It's a very specific, underneath the 2, a very specific lock to have growth on the material plane. And if you don't have change, you don't have growth and development at the material plane level. This is important. If you're dealing with health or money challenges, this is a very interesting place to dive into. Now, personality-wise, when we shift gears from the 6-2 to the 6-3, as far as the role model priest mind, the 3rd color is the color of desire, motivationally speaking. A priest is driven by desire. This is a powerful motivation. It can organize people. It can organize things. It is, when desire is a correct frequency, it's a lock onto, oftentimes, the material plane, and it's like a swell of energy, where desire motivation is really about getting locked into your thing. So the embodiment of being at that place of being able to say, do this, don't do that. I learned this the hard way. So as an example, I mentioned earlier in one of my streams, if anybody has ever heard of oxalates, because I'd love to tell you, it's one of the things, you know, in Lavina, as a person who is absolutely here to contagiate or infect others with knowledge, when I come across something that does not work and I know it from experience, I want to shout it from the rooftops. Oxalates, just Google. Okay, this is something that absolutely is damaging us at the mitochondrial level, and it's gathering inside of our bodies, and it's some of the most popular and beloved foods. And if you're attuning to those foods that are not right for you, as in you're taking them in, thinking that they're healthy when they're not, the way that it detoxes is mind bending as far as the way that you are ascribing to beloving your foods that are making you sick. It's just, I wish I could go into, but right now I can't. The nature of priesthood is don't do that. I learned the hard way. And this is what you hear from someone like me as a priest mentality. So priests are the ones who set the rules for the material plane business, according to Ra. Sixth line, role model, is going to be those people that are trusted. Trusted because they learned from experience. What experience? They made the mistakes too in their first 30 years. Third line, trial and error game. To be able to attune to this place of being able to recognize or realize or be empowered by or respond to or initiate in others, there is a job description that each one of us has, and it has to do with your true profile. Some of the aspects of what I'm giving you free. Now, when it comes to this process of being in the box, you can see the third color on both sides, it's an in the box. So a brain body system that is perfectly built for the mind's process of attuning to the nature of your sovereignty, your giftedness. If we shift over to the color for profit at the brain body level, now we have an outside the box thinker, the profit design. Now this is again archetypally, the digestive system is going to be attuned to the demands of the circumstances for taking in nourishment. This includes eating, this includes communing, this includes learning. It's very important for you to attune to whether or not the environment is calm or nervous. Some of you need that stimulation in order to digest properly. This is circumstantial. Your calm or nervous situation circumstances are going to help develop your sensory capacity of touch. And touch is going to give you precisely what is needed or necessary. This is a brain that's oriented to being influential. So even though you're a 2 line quality, there's going to be a need for people and to be able to externalize to others when you've waited for the call. Right call to the right person. Everybody is here for somebody. But you're only going to attune to those that are right for you when you are yourself in right action first. Alignment 2. The capability of you to be physical in contact. That's what color 4 is. It's a physical contact. Prophets are people that can affect you by simply laying hands upon you. These are our laying on of hands people as far as the color 4. So you're looking at the prophet being able to be called to prophesize, potentially too, as in being someone who can, on the mind side particularly, be trusted as a prophet. So we shift gears on the mind side, the role model prophet. We're looking at need here, mentally, motivationally speaking. This is the awareness principle. This itself is something that is absolutely needed in the world. You are needed in the world. Don't be afraid. You're needed. You're necessary. Now, what we see is that with 4th color, anywhere you find it, there is this propensity for transference. This means it moves easily to the harmonic. That's the first. So fear in this case. Attempting to be teacher when really you're here to be prophet. What to do? It's a learning capacity. What's necessary, though, is the only thing that's here to be externalized, not all those things that make you afraid that you're trying to dig down deep into. No, the need principle is inherent part of your process and your sovereignty and your giftedness as a 2. So this is potentially, it can transfer to all other places too. So if you identify with any of the other colors, no worries. It's just part of your awareness principle. But need what is exactly precisely needed so that you can role model your influence to those that you know in person. Again, the color 4 is a real in-person thing. liken it to the tribal nature of circuitry. You know, tribes, hey, blood is thicker than water. You know, we are so close, we touch, stream of sensitivity. Is it sensitivity to touch? Or we can smell each other. People like us eat things like this, so we all smell the same. That kind of thing, that kind of in-person thing. That's one of your secrets. So if you are attempting to make money alone in your own aura and having difficulty, hey, guess what? You probably are going to do much more powerfully in person if you're learning how to work for yourself. So what is necessary is the only thing that's here to be externalized for you. Your cognition expressed through color is going to provide the information of what is to be externalized. Cognition is a deeper layer I'm not going into in this surface level bit here. The prophet, you have an ability to influence those people that you have a connection to. You need a connection to people, and you can recognize or realize or be aware of precisely what the other person needs to know. So maybe you have heard yourself talking to people and they go, God, I'm so glad you said that. I really needed to hear that. I really needed to hear that. Is that something that you hear from other people? Congratulations, you're on track. You know, everything about you as a prophet. This is about learning. Colors 3 and 4 are learning motivationally frequency beings. It's about organizing community through common activity, through common roles. So the one thing to understand about prophets, Ross said, prophets are only prophets for tribes. Meaning, again, pointing us back to a truth. What is it like to be in person versus being alone in your own aura? 4 colors need connection. Okay. 4th lines too. Learning. As far as the connection through that connectivity, the laying on of hands, whatever it happens to be. So when you're looking at 4 here, you can see that when you are not operating correctly at the brain-body system or the mind side level, what happens is you're easily a victim and you easily have a rundown immune system when you're not operating in integrity or in alignment, whatever your capability is. Now, at the color 5 messenger level, when we shift gears on the body side, it's a body that's very sensitive to sound, to acoustics. You marry that to a lot of individual activations. You're looking at double whammies, as in a sound sensitivity. This is a being as a 2. You know how you're waiting for the call? Oh, look, underneath, you're going to put out a call too, because that's what the 5 can do. You're looking at a vehicle, body principle, brain-body system that is suited to be able to provide a message to strangers if your personality goes along with it. So the body is built outside of the box thinker, again, because you see the color, they don't match. You're looking at somebody brain-body system-wise that has this capability of putting out the call, the message. Once it's received a call and they've responded, it's correct for them, whatever the case may be, at the personal integrity of being their own authority. Now, as we shift gears on the mind side, we're seeing the color 5 messenger. Look, inside the box thinker. The messenger is a guilt force, as in this is a fixer. This is a role model fixer, we could say. This is a personality that has this role model capacity because it's gone through what cannot be trusted, learned from its experience, come to this nature of, remember, 50 is the full flowering of a 9-centered human being, the full maturity. At this juncture, they know what's wrong with society. They are going to try as an outer authority to get you to change. Again, guilt force, as in responsibility. Messengers try to change the world. They're built for strangers. This is not 4, this is 5. And 5 is the universalizing principle. So they're carrying the quality of responsibility. Another word we can say there is guilt, which is about conditioning, changing things, fixing things, strangers. And a messenger is carrying a universalizing potential. This is true across the board, wherever you see 5 as a line quality or a color, motivationally speaking or otherwise. On the body side, when we shift gears from the hermit from the 5 to the 6, the Buddha, we're looking at a hermit Buddha, a light sensitive body. Okay, brain body system that is sensitive to light frequencies. This is a brain that is less concerned about others. Naturally, it's going to attune to its own inherent selfishness. Now, enlightened selfishness is being who you are for yourself, so generator, for others, projector, initiating, manifester, or reflecting, the reflector. This is the divine quality of enlightened selfishness. This is not about paying lip service. This is just being one's natural Buddha-like nature, in that you're very much self-absorbed and involved at a level that other people go, what's wrong with you? Potentially, maybe nothing wrong with you. You're just different. A unique quality of selfishness, which is the perfection of this embodiment principle, the life, your unique life. That really is the point, after all. There's everything under the sun in this day and age. And at this stage, if we shift over on the 6-line role model level to the color 6 Buddha, here we see the in-the-box thinker. The Buddha brain body system underneath a line quality that is 2 is very specifically selfish. And what to do? Look at all those 6s. We see a role model Buddha at the mind level that is innocence. Innocence is deeply selfish, as in there is no desire from your personality mind to get involved with other people's process as far as the body process too, even. This is the detached, unattached. We use that term with 6-line energies. Transition. This is the inner perfection of one's own existence, where the outer world and the consequences of the outer world, they are present, but it's never what it's all about as far as the nature of you, authentically and true. In your authenticity, the 6-color motivation is about you being whole within yourself, no matter what other people tell you or think of you. Now, if we shift gears to the color 1 teacher, we're back at line 3. So that's all I'll keep for a separate video. I hope you enjoyed that. There's this incredible flush of warmth in my body when I know that I've given something of value. I hope you agree with that too. For further information, if you're looking for color motivation, this is something that you can absolutely see at the surface level when you go and run your free chart at Jovian Archive, Source of the Human Design Systems, mybodygraph.com. Mybodygraph.com is a fabulous teaching tool. I encourage all of my students to learn to use it. If it is right for you to engage with either me or my company as far as coming into our classes, courses, there's Human Design Mastery, where I have partnered with Jovian Archive to give you very deep, profound courses, both at the personal and the professional level of learning how to be yourself successfully. Not a professional training, but it is one of those things that can enrich yourself professionally. I look forward to connecting with you whenever it is right for you. If you are learning to become a professional, Human Design Life Coaching, it's where I currently have all of my classes available. And you can join us in our membership area at humandesign.live, www.humandesign.live, to join us for the conversation and to engage with the information. Until next time, my friends, happy weekend. Bye for now.